What I want to share with you now is something I wrote this week. It takes me a while to tie my shoes. Most of the year, I hunt in legendary Danner pronghorn boots. But on an early season elk hunt in the rolling prairie preludes of the mountains, I wear trail running shoes with a carbon fiber plate. Been doing this for over a decade. The pair I'm wearing this year is absurdly bright, transcendent, nearly toxic green. I bought them on clearance for dirt cheap because no one else wanted them. For some unknown reason, they made the laces so long that the bunny's ears constantly get caught on twigs as I walk, and they come untied. So I double knot them by doubling the loops. This takes an absurd amount of time, and the whole crew is waiting on me. This year, it's my father-in-law who's holding the tag, while both of his sons are also along to help out. When one of the ears, the bunny ears, falls untied again, I glance up with a smirk and casually say to my hunting companions, "I'll be there in a little while." We will be spending all week hunting elk in the space of in a little while. We will set up on ridges and timber chutes, making the mating noises of elk in hopes that a bull elk crowned with his fall horns will respond with bugles that grow closer and closer. In a little while, he might just come all the way in if we are patient. Hunting is the mastery of in a little while. It's one of the reasons I love it. Everything in life is a constant push of production and achievement. It's probably not supposed to be that way, but that's the way it feels most often to me. Yet, hunting can't be produced or achieved. The best hunters master the hunting art of in a little while. The phrase both captures the present anticipation and the sometimes realized hope of what is to come. In a little while, the first strands of light will crest the eastern sky, and the blobs of black shadows will slowly crystallize into bushes, stumps, trees, and maybe a rump. In a little while, the maple leaves will turn to crimson. The white oaks will start dropping acorns, and an old elm will host me 20 feet high. In a little while, that liver-spotted griffon I've loved for over a decade will come to point in a stand of chest-high cattails, and after a little while, a rooster with a dragon tail will explode from the brush in front of me while my side-by-side 12-gauge paints his flight. In a little while, the first flakes of an early December snow will softly and quietly descend into enough layers to allow for a long, cold day of tracking and a long evening of warming bone-chilled toes by an open fire. In a little while, the barren Ozark Hills will be garnished in the first spring blooms of red and white from the dogwoods and the redbuds, and a thunderous gobble will echo against the limestone bluffs. In a little while, the tension I'm holding as I stare through my peep sight and the tension I've created in the limbs of my compound bow will be released through the synthetic strings and into my graphite arrow, propelling 330 feet per second into the unsuspecting target. In a little while, a way too quick little while, that baby boy I was holding just a minute ago will be tracing my boot steps while wearing the cutest blaze orange beanie you've ever seen as we head towards the pop-up blind on my grandpa's farm. In a little while, in too quick of a little while, I'll have to wake that sleeping girl of her mid-morning nap sitting in her daddy's lap with her red hair laid back on my warm chest while she loosely clings to her 410 as we lean against the same sun-drenched sycamore I sat with my dad. Speaking of Dad, in a little while we will meet up again at the old farmhouse, and in a little while the coffee will be done percolating And we will sip it together while we recount the morning's failures. And in a little while, we might just go out and try again. In a little while, the final glisten of fall sunshine will slowly fade, casting long golden shadows across the hayfield. And that old buck I've been chasing for 3 years will finally take the last step out from the gap in the honeysuckle. This may be why I hunt. I don't always understand my motivations for anything I do, especially not hunting. I want to provide for my family. I want to enjoy God and nature. I want the camaraderie of shared camps. Yet, maybe more than any of those things, I want to experience in a little while, in a world that pulses with right now. Our modern world is defined by instant gratification. We can buy it now and pay for it later. We have instant access to entertainment at all times, a constant stream of dopamine. We eat our customized food fast, whether it's ordered from a restaurant or pulled straight out of a standard living device that keeps fresh meat always at hand, regardless of whose hand killed and processed it. We can fill a glass of water immediately from multiple places throughout our home, though we often choose the faster way of unscrewing a pre-filled plastic bottle. Just last week, I heard a commercial for both healthcare and a bachelor's degree described as fast and affordable. As we stand in line in one of the very few places left where there is still in a little while, we barely take 2 bored breaths before pulling out our phones to fill the time. I'm in the middle of in a little while right now as I write this. It's mid-September in the mountains. We've climbed through the pine deadfall and up the cedar ridges. Now we're waiting in a meadow to hear the majestic bugle of a rutting elk. In a little while, they'll start roaring, and we will start calling and chasing. After I sit in silence for half an hour just listening and occasionally snoozing, I open up the Bible app on my phone. I've downloaded a couple of Bible versions so I can read them up here. Surprisingly and disappointingly, I have cell service. The daily scripture reading pops up before I can catch it. But it is perfect for the moment, and for a brief second, I'm glad I have the cell service to get it. Psalms 27:14 from the NLT. Wait patiently for the Lord. Be brave and courageous. Yes, wait patiently for the Lord. In a little while is this waiting. It is the anticipation of the God who is actively alive in the world. The psalmist teaches us that we don't wait passively any more than a hunter does after his prey. No, our waiting is brave and courageous. We are brave and courageous because we wait only for a little while. We know that our God, who is full of grace and truth, is about to show up again. We know that in a little while, he will come, and it will be so good when he does. Some of us live out this bold bravery more courageously than others. My phone dings with a notification as I read from my psalm. Then another and another. Even in the Montana mountains, the world is trying to notify me, keep me from my in a little while. Did you hear? Says a text message. Live breaking news, says a news app. It is news for real this time, and it is tragic. It seems too often to be tragic these days. A young Christian father of 2 has been shot in hostility to his message. Charlie Kirk is dead, said the notification. I was shocked and instantly saddened. He was a man of in a little while. He carried hopeful enthusiasm for a better world based on some political beliefs, but more importantly, to his core, as he continually and routinely shared, this hopeful enthusiasm came from his deep trust that the good news of Jesus is salvation for all people. Not every Christian agreed with every one of his political leanings, but we all admired the way he shared his own testimony of faith to a generation yearning for purpose and meaning. In this moment, I am reminded of another facet of in a little while. We wait for a little while, but also we mourn for a little while. Not just because of his assassination, but also for another school shooting in our country. At least the second in a month. We pray again that in a little while this way of violence will end. Yet we know, for this little while at least, it will remain. We should always be appalled and heartbroken over the world's use of violence and power to control and silence. But as Jesus followers, we should never be surprised. We are reminded of Jesus' own teachings on the night he was betrayed from John 16. Jesus went on to say, "In a little while, you will see me no more. And then, after a little while, you will see me." At this, some of his disciples said to one another, "What does he mean by saying, 'In a little while you will see me no more, and then after a little while you will see me'? And because I'm going to the Father." They kept asking, "What does he mean by 'in a little while'? We don't understand what he is saying." Jesus saw that they wanted to ask him about this, so he said to them, "Are you asking one another what I meant when I said, 'In a little while you will see me no more, and then after a little while you will see me'? Very truly I tell you, you will weep and mourn while the world rejoices." Jesus tells his disciples what we all know intimately. In a little while, you will mourn. In a little while, you will cry and hurt and be in pain. The kindest man that ever lived will be brutally killed by the evil forces of hate, sin, and violence. In a little while, the incarnate Son of God will taste death in its bitter fullness. Yet, Jesus in this passage also reminds us that though the little while often carries pain, it also brings joy. Hear what he continues to say. "You will grieve, but in a little while, your grief will turn to joy." A woman giving birth to a child has pain because her time has come. But when her baby is born, she forgets the anguish because of her joy that a child is born into the world. So with you. Now is your time of grief. But I will see you again, and you will rejoice, and no one will take away your joy. In that day you will no longer ask me anything. Very truly I tell you, my Father will give you whatever you ask in my name. Until now you haven't asked for anything in my name. Ask, and you will receive, and your joy will be complete. The "in a little while" of hunting brings some culmination, whether joyful or disappointment. More importantly, the "in a little while" of this present world shares in the same tension. The world is in pain like a mother in labor. But the pains will soon be gone, and in its place the kind of joy that can only briefly in this world be captured by the way a mother holds her newborn child. Intimate, costly, abundant joy. Complete, full joy. The tragic shootings are not the only news I've encountered this week. I've also heard the story of another college revival underway at Oklahoma University with over 9,000 students in attendance. Similar stories have been shared about college campuses throughout the country. Just a year ago on the campus of Ohio State University, some of the leading football players shared their brave testimony of the good news of Jesus to a crowd of thousands, and hundreds were baptized. It's been a while in this country since 18 to 20-year-olds gathered by the thousands to celebrate Jesus, but it's happening again. It happened again at Auburn, Tennessee, Texas, and of course Asbury, among many, many more. At this point, thousands of young adults have given their life to Jesus in baptism. Why did they do this? The same reason Charlie Kirk did. They knew that someday the in a little while violence of this world will be fully and totally overcome. And the in a little while of pain and suffering will be filled with the eternal now of complete and overwhelming joy. All these thoughts are suddenly and shockingly halted by a screaming bugle like a trumpet sounding off from the ridge below us. My heart beats fast and a big, goofy grin appears on my father-in-law's face. Just like that, the in a little while is now.